I've just put my oven on, preheated it to 200 degrees before I start taking you through this beautiful, gorgeous lahme بعجين recipe. Thank you guys for tuning in. And last week I brought you a za'atar or man'ushat za'atar recipe, and this week I'm going to be showing you building on that, a lahme بعجين, which is also a traditional recipe, the second most popular after za'atar, which is, as you might know it, as a lamb pizza. So let me take you through the recipes that we need. We need 500 grams of lamb. Please make sure you use lamb and not beef. It's not going to come out very nice. Authentically, we always use lamb in this dish. So please use lamb. And what I've actually done is I put it through a hand meat grinder or mincer. The reason that I've used it and done it this way, it does take a little bit longer to do. Unfortunately, I don't have access to, an electric one. But the reason I've done that and I haven't put it through the food processor is because I find it gets a little bit too sloppy. So to keep the consistency that we want, I've done it that way. So that's all nice and soft and ready to go. And I've got here 2 tomatoes and 1 onion. And for my spices, I've got the baharat, which is also known as 7 spices, paprika, Himalayan salt, and I've got some pine nuts, which are optional, not always found on lahme بعجين. They might be found on the smaller versions, which is called sfiha, which is a square thing that we fold, which is done a little bit differently. But in this case, I'm actually going to put in some pine nuts because I'm feeling a little bit decadent. So first thing we'll need to do is take our onion, okay, and I'm just going to pulse it before I add the onion. So I've chopped that up. Then I'll just put in, so it's chopped it up a little bit, not too fine, and then I'm going to add in the onion. Now the tomatoes. The tomatoes is what really gives it that beautiful flavor. So we're just going to mix that till it's kind of almost like a paste. Okay, let's just have a look at that. You don't want to leave any chunks in there, so it's really important that you make sure that you scrape down the sides and that you get everything the same consistency. So I'm going to give that just a little bit more. I feel like I had to stand on my tippy toes to do that, I don't know why. Okay. So now we've got that, that sort of consistency. I think that should do the trick. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my lamb mince and I'm going to put that straight into the bowl. I am then, before I actually put in this mixture, I'm going to take some salt. Now, you can measure this, probably about 3 teaspoons, or sorry, maybe 1 tablespoon or about 2 teaspoons. But what I'm going to do, I'm literally going to put about that much salt. I'm just going to guess it. I don't mind. With Himalayan salt, you don't need too much. Baharat, the same thing. I'm going to take probably, maybe that's about 2 teaspoons, and just put that through there. Bit less of the paprika, but that's just to give it a really nice color. Now, also just to let you know, you can put in green capsicum or red capsicum. That is sometimes found. Turkish tend to do it like that. They make theirs a little bit different. In some parts of the Middle East, they will use that, but in this case, I'm going to do it really traditional. What I grew up with, which is not using the capsicum. So it's all based on preference. There's really no right or wrong. So let's just take that from the processor. And I'll put that in here. Okay. Oh, lovely. Okay. Now, I'm going to use my hands because it is the only way to really work through the meat. To work that through the meat. Oh, 7 spices is beautiful. You really want to make sure that the ingredients are all really, really well combined, so you don't get, bits of onion or tomato stuck in one place. Okay, so I've mixed that through. So what I'm going to do now, this is the time when I would add the pine nuts. I'm just going to put in maybe it's probably about 25, 30 grams, but it's just about a handful of pine nuts, so we don't want to put too much in. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our dough and I'm going to roll it out. Now, for those of you who didn't see the za'atar episode, please go over here and you'll be able to see how to make that dough. So this is my dough. It's been sitting there. It's all ready to go. So what I'm going to do, first thing, is get some flour. Take my dough. Oh, that's beautiful. Now this is dough that I made with spelt flour, which you'll see in that episode. It's really important to get the dough right. So here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll that dough out, stretch it out. And this dough is going to make us, I'd say, about 8 lahme بعجين. So let's just cut them up. Now, lahme in Arabic means meat. So lahme بعجين actually means meat in dough. That is the transliteral translation right there. It's really funny, in Arabic we say in instead of. It's a really strange language, sometimes like that. So instead of saying welcome to you, we say welcome in you. I'm going to take my flour right there, take my rolling pin, and I'm just going to stretch those out like so. Okay, so I'm going to roll it out like that. Okay, you can stretch it out. Now I'm just going to press in, just make like a little bit of a well right there. Okay, I'm going to use my hands. I'm going to take a very small handful of the lahme, of the meat, and I'm just going to press that in. Oh, I can smell that para. That's beautiful. Okay, so then I'm just going to pinch it on the sides. There you go. All right, I'm going to take my pan. I'm going to put that in there. Now, depending on the size of the pan, I might be able to put 2 on here. No, maybe not. I'm going to grab my other pan, which is over here, which I've got ready. Put those in. Okay, and I'm going to pop these into the oven for about 10 minutes. So let's take these out. I've already taken a few out of the oven. Oh, they smell delicious. Now guys, unfortunately, in terms of presentation, it's not the best effort that I've made. I think what's happened is I just wasn't able to put the meat properly. I didn't get put it right into the flour, and it's a new recipe for me. But you know what? I'm gonna have a taste of these because that's what really matters. And it's delicious. The thing with dough and with pastry, I think it's one of those things that takes a bit of practice and a bit of time to do to get it right. So, but it's absolutely delicious. Hope you enjoy this recipe. Please play around with it until you get it right. It's just one of those things, like sometimes it's the most simple recipes that take us a bit of time, but I'm really enjoying this. Really delicious. And it's inspiration time. Okay, so this is the quote of the day. Let's see what my crew have for me. So today's quote of the day is, simplicity is the key to brilliance. And who said that? Very deep and poetic thing was Bruce Lee. Simplicity is the key to brilliance. Okay, so basically keep things simple, keep things real. I tried to maybe play around with this a little bit too much, tried to not maybe kind of add a bit too much to it. So next time, simplicity, just keep it clean, fresh, brilliant, and brilliance. Just be simple like me. I'm such a simple person. That makes me brilliant. And there we have it, guys. My time is up. So that's what I had to say about that quote in 30 seconds. And thank you for watching the show. Please remember, watch the dough recipe. If you haven't already seen that video, the za'atar video where everything looked so much better than this one did, but it's still delicious. And like, comment, subscribe, keep cooking, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye. I always laugh how my mum says things till now. My favorite thing, and my mum will kill me if she actually hears it. She's going to hear this because she's most likely going to watch me, maybe, and she'll probably comment. But my mum always says, when I was going on, she'd say, Jemina, why are you lying on me? And I'm like, but Mum, I'm not lying. She's trying to say, why are you lying to me? Ooh, this one's looking a bit like a stomach.